would have been.
Where did you dig up that old fossil?
Going into Toshi Station to pick up some power converters.
That's no moon.
We're all fine here now, thank you. How are you?
Welcome to the Star Wars Nerds Podcast. I'm Dan Vadabonker.
And I'm Kenton Larson.
How you doing, Kenton?
Very good. How are you?
I tell my students never to start a podcast like that, and I couldn't think of anything else to say in the moment.
How are you feeling today?
How are you? I am fine. What's new with you? I tell them to never start with the how was your week?
Yeah.
Because nobody cares about our week.
No.
Although,
Even I don't care about my week.
no, I knew experienced it. But this week's a little different in that we have a new Star Wars show to talk about, to watch. And so we're going to talk about that today. It's Skeleton Crew, dropped on Disney Plus on Monday at 8 p.m. Central. I noticed that. I wasn't even sure what date it was, to be honest. I knew it was first week of December. I went on to Disney Plus. I saw the ad there, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'll watch it. Click. Oh, wait, no, it's not there till 8 p.m. So I had to wait until later on in the evening to watch it. I don't know how much that's working with Disney doing that kind of stuff. Like they're kind of treating it like network television by premiering it in the evening like that. It's kind of weird. But anyway, when did you watch it?
Right when it went live, basically, maybe 5 minutes after it went live or something. So pretty soon. I never wanted to be spoiled. And, I like to go in sort of fresh and just see. I kind of liked getting up early to see The Mandalorian back in the day, 6 a.m. or whatever.
Oh, actually.
They'd be, and it's
because it would drop in the middle of the night, right?
Yeah. It's dark outside.
Yeah,
Turn on the TV. Yes, exactly. Like it's awesome. So I'm not the biggest fan of 8 o'clock at night, but now I think it's Tuesdays at 8 o'clock.
Oh, is
now.
it? Okay.
So
they
Monday,
dropped the first 2 episodes, and now it's going to go to Tuesdays.
Yeah, but I kind of like, well, nothing wrong with a Monday. I don't know why Tuesday would be better than a Monday for doing that.
I don't think they know what they're doing, Kenton. I think they're just testing things. I really do think they're testing it out and seeing what works. Like
trying different times.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. I do think because it was Wednesdays with The Mandalorian, right? And I think it was Wednesdays with The Acolyte as well.
Yeah.
Right. So anyway, who knows? Let's start with overall thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Did you like it or hate it?
The first episode I like less than the second episode.
I don't think you hate it overall.
No. I would not say I hate it. I think there's elements I dislike. But generally, I stopped thinking about those elements in the second episode. Toward the end of the second episode, it started chugging along, and I just started liking it more. And I think for me, the less those kids were called upon to act in and have conversations in scene, the more I enjoyed the action, and I could sit back and enjoy Steve Urkel. The second episode,
that was nice.
Yeah,
nice little cameo there,
little Steve Urkel, and I could enjoy the aliens and the droids. Like once that started to sort of come together, I was along for the ride. But that first episode, I was like, what? Like what? I don't think this is for me. I was thinking like, okay, I'll watch this. I'll watch whatever this is. But I think there's elements there that will come back to make the show more than what we think it's about now.
Okay.
I'll say that. And we'll talk about that more. But how do you like it? Do you hate it? Are you indifferent?
I like it. I think it's good. I liked the first episode. I think it's interesting. This is, and one of my TikTok friends said this the other day after it aired. This is the closest we've ever had to like a realistic depiction of our life in the Star Wars universe. This is clearly meant to be the suburbs that these kids live in. This is Stranger Things. It's the 80s suburbs, right? They're riding their hover bikes around. He's got to go in his garage and get it and all that stuff. And he's got to like take the bus to school and all that. There's all, and they go to school and all that stuff. So this is the closest we've ever seen like our lives shown in the Star Wars universe. And I think it's intentional because these kids are also going to discover the Star Wars universe because their planet has apparently been isolated, as we learn later on in the episode. It's their planet where they come from. Aden is this secret planet that nobody knows where it is, and they don't know where it is now because they've gone to hyperspace and they don't know they've lost it. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of ourselves. But I like that. I do like that it was kind of familiar and it felt like this is our lives in the Star Wars universe. I kind of like that.
And they read books, and they watch the same porn from the holiday special.
Yes, there was a holiday special show.
That was one of my favorite moments in the
That was
the
really
first
good.
episode. Yeah.
And so yeah, there's a lot of little nods like that.
Yeah.
And it did kind of remind me of like say Ready Player One, where it's like kind of a futuristic look at our society. By the way, our job has been automated. It's a droid teaching the class. I don't know how they think that's going to work. Like a droid, the students are not paying attention to that droid. They do not care about what that droid has to say.
Well, maybe the droid has guns built into him or something. Like, so you're like you get the ultimate punishment. They've seen the ultimate punishment, so they know they better pay attention.
They do use droids for discipline. They have a truant officer droid that's there to bring him into school when he's late. And they've got, later on, there's some droids like patrolling around, I think, that are like, what are you guys doing out here kind of thing when they're, I think that came up later on.
Yeah.
I did find that in the first episode, there was a little too much of people calling claimsies on stuff and all these like this dynamics between these kids wasn't great.
Yeah.
You've got the two friends. You've got what's their names? It's Neil and I feel like I should know the names. They use the names enough.
They've said them.
Wim and Neil, and the other two are, I'm blanking on them.
I am too.
The other two kids, but basically they're two sets of two friends that come together to find this. You know, it turns out to be a spaceship, but he thinks it's a Jedi temple. Which I find is interesting that they know what Jedi are. You see him playing with Star Wars figures at the beginning.
And
so again,
he's looking at the Luke Skywalker Rancor story.
Yeah. Right. He's got that on his computer. He was watching tablet.
He was reading about Return of the Jedi.
Yeah. Cool. So again, this is very much like this is us. Like this is meant to be us. It's like we are fans of Star Wars. This kid is a fan of Star Wars.
Yeah.
Even though he lives in the Star Wars universe. So I thought it was really cool. So they find this ship and then they I can't remember how they figure out their claimsies. That was kind of lame. And then they
that went on for a bit.
It did. It got too long. I just lost interest.
Open the stupid hatch, get in.
Yeah, exactly, right? So then they get in there and they find an old droid, which is kind of cool. I like that old
droid. Skeleton, the droid, the mouse in the skeleton in the droid's eye socket, or whatever that is, a mouse, whatever it is. And I liked that. By the way, did they find those Republic credits in the ship?
I thought his dad gave him those credits.
Is that what happened?
Yeah.
Okay, I got confused at a certain point. I was like, where do these credits come from? His dad said, go buy yourself lunch or something.
It's his lunch money for the week.
Oh, okay.
He said, I'm going to be gone all week, so that's your lunch money for the week. So that's his credits. He had to go to buy his lunch. And then he goes to buy, when they get into the ship takes off, goes into hyperspace. They don't know where they are. The robot takes them to a space station, like a pirate.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I love this droid. I love.
Oh yeah, me too.
Ask whatever his name is.
That's when things started getting really good, right?
Really good. Yeah, I agree. The first episode was a bit slow moving, introducing the characters, introducing the world. It was kind of lame.
I was also gonna say that the plot element that is just so constructed is the ship comes out of the ground, the kids are on top of it, and the father the only person is the father.
Yeah.
So they have somebody who knows what happened to them. But I thought, wouldn't it even be freakier? You could do the old Tom Sawyer and have the parents not know what happened to the kid.
Well,
and then you get the classic, we're horrified. Where could they have gone? Then you have the funeral where the kids show up at the back of the funeral. Like that's so good, just like Tom Sawyer did.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's what it should be. But the fact that the dad saw it, just, okay, well, like, we know where they are. We know what happened. Now we got to go find them. I think it's better if the family doesn't know.
Yeah.
I think if this show's for kids, show kids. What would your parents do if they didn't know where you were?
Yeah.
Well, it's a good lesson.
That moment was so forced because the hatch was shut.
Mm-hmm.
They did a big deal about the hatch being shut. They couldn't get out. And then they turn on the power, whatever they do. They flip the switch and the whole ship comes to life and starts flying. And then the hatch opens. Why would the hatch open in that moment? So they can stick their heads out and say, "Hey, Dad, I'm up here." And then that was just so forced. It was
it was just too
flying around, sticking out of the hatch and that kind of stuff.
Let's hover. We need to hover a certain amount of time as well. Like it's just that part. That's when I was like, oh god, like is this the Acolyte part 2?
Right.
Like I was a little bit worried.
And I will agree with you about the acting. The kids are not great actors.
Well, but 2 exceptions I will throw in there. I will say the Elephant Boy Neil. I think Elephant
CGI character.
Elephant Boy made me laugh a couple times, like when he was like yippee or whatever, like what yippee ki whatever it is he's shouting. No. And I was like, that's pretty cute. I like seeing you laying in his hot tub. That was pretty hilarious. After the test, he goes home and he lays in a hot tub after a test. That's great. But I actually think the girl with the visor, whatever her name is, I kind of like her.
I thought she kind of like a Lobot character. Like I think got like a cyber implant. I thought that visor was permanent, and then she lifts it up in one scene, and she doesn't have it on. So she's got the visor down a lot of the time, but it does seem like this kind of computer.
Yep.
And she actually can plug in. Didn't she like plug into something to open something?
I believe that's what she did.
Yeah.
But I like her. She's playing, I guess, like Lobot, like half human, half robot, or half cyborg, I guess is what you call that.
Yep.
So she's a cyborg, so she's not overacting. Like I just kind of went, oh, that's she like I like her, and I like the little elephant boy, but I think the two main leads, human leads, are a little like that first episode. Yeah, like they're kid actors. I don't want to be mean to kid actors.
You are mean to kid actors all the time,
Kenton. But I was also mean to adult actors in The Acolyte. Adult actors that were terrible, which is a worse crime against humanity. I did not feel chemistry between those two characters, and I think we are supposed to feel some degree of chemistry between those characters.
It's supposed to be like, oh, we hate each other, but we're going to become friends, and we've seen the trope before. There's a lot of things in here that are very tropey and stuff we've seen before. As we've talked about, they're trying to kind of pay homage to the 80s, as they say, Amblin movies.
Oh, this is so Amblin.
Right.
Like, never before has that ever been spoken until this show came out.
And I did get that. Certainly, there's certain shots that definitely remind me of E.T. In there. But I think, actually, what's interesting is that what we thought was going to be Stranger Things with Star Wars is actually turning out to kind of be Treasure Island with Star Wars. Like, I think that droid is very much a Long John Silver character, and he's kind of greeting them through this thing, and so they have to like navigate the world of pirates now. They have to figure out how to get back home. Here we have, the safety droid finds the dad after the dad comes back, and the dad can tell people. So I guess we're going to follow along with that story too, as far as the dad and trying to find them. But like, what can they do?
Okay, here, can I give you my my theory? And I'm just talking out of my ass here. This is no spoiler, but I think I have an idea about what this might be. Okay, so they're on this planet. We find out from the pirates, like, everybody thinks it's a mythical planet. Right?
It's a long lost planet. This is like
Atatan.
Aten.
What's with the non-Nawoods and the Aten?
I think it's so that because it's all for all the AT-AT people, the AT-AT people who don't like when people say AT-AT. It's Aten.
Yeah, you're probably right. Oh yeah, you're right. It's a stupid in-joke. Oh, it didn't even occur to me. Okay, so mythical planet. We also find out that one of the kids' mothers. Which kid was it? The mother goes to the school. And she's taught, and that's an actor. I've seen that actor in other things.
She's done stuff.
Yeah.
And so they have to take a test and basically be categorized on this planet. And it also has a shield, some kind of shield around it. And they go through the barrier they have to go through,
which shields it probably from being able to see it. Right. Exactly. That kind of thing. But then I started thinking, okay, so and which kid's mom was that?
I believe it was the
can't remember.
Not the advisor kid, but the other kid, like the other kid.
Okay.
Her mom.
So this is what I see. This is in my mind. This is where I think this is going. Let's see if I'm right. I think so. She's a high up at the New Republic. So if they need help finding the kid, we know Mando and Grogu are running, right? So I'm going to throw that out there. We know they're assisting the Republic. Maybe them. Maybe somebody else shows up. Maybe our pal. Maybe Kim's Convenience shows up to help out. Like something like. I think we're going to see something like that. So that's good. But now I'm also thinking, what if, okay, so it seems like they are maybe under surveillance on this planet. It's possible. It seems like maybe this planet is a big experiment. Maybe they're building weapons on this planet. Maybe like what lies beneath, like David Lynch's movie Blue Velvet was about the horror beneath the suburbs. I was kind of like, is that where this is going? Is there something nefarious going on that planet that they're unaware of, that the people maybe even who live there are unaware of? Like, why is this pirate ship underneath the ground? What, like,
well, it could have just crashed there or whatever.
Right, but what brought it there? I just think there's more to this planet story, and when nobody seems to know what it is, and now we've got like Jude Law.
We haven't gotten him yet.
Yeah.
He's not even in. I mean, he's in the first episode in the first scene. I'm pretty sure that's him in that mask, right? That's like.
Well, it is his voice and his body, so I assume with a like we're supposed to know it's him, right?
Yes, so it was
Yeah.
weird though.
Yeah.
Like, why don't they just show his face? Why does he have to be in a mask? But anyway,
Unless it turns out it wasn't him, in which case we're all hoodwinked. But
Yeah.
it was him.
yeah, it was him. So he and it's some kind of a like they're trying to take over the ship and it goes wrong and it is basically all.
Yeah. Did you like how shot for shot that was the Rebel cruiser from Star Wars: A New Hope?
I noticed that very
Shot for-
similar. Yeah, was it really?
Yes. So you see them holding the gun out and like looking up when they hear the noise. Like it's laid out in the exact same way. And I do like the tubes that shoot into the ship.
Oh yeah,
So they can run
the
in.
boarding. Yeah, the
Yeah.
boarding party. Yeah, that was a neat idea.
So Jude Law, yeah. So he's a pirate but they've killed people at this point, and people have been killed. But he is a pirate who doesn't make good on his promise.
He's the Jack Sparrow of the Star Wars universe.
Right.
And that's definitely the vibe I got when they get into the jail and into the brig and they're sitting there, the kids are there with this guy, and it's like, okay, I can see where this is going. He's going to help them get out, and then they're going to get back to wherever they need to get.
But is he a Jedi?
Well, I don't know. He can use the Force.
Is he but can he, or was that just a trick? Was somebody else?
It was he floated the key across the room. The question is, why is he doing it now? Why can he do it before?
Right,
and why is he waiting for the kids to show up?
Right. So he's either a plant or there's more to the story, I think. But I did like the mouse who wouldn't go get the key. That was funny. Who couldn't figure it out. That's good stuff. So I think there's more going on here. I think I will like this show more, and people love this show. I have to say, I am shocked at the overwhelming love for this.
Oh yeah,
on Rotten Tomatoes, on IMDb, just people in general. I watched a couple of reaction videos just to see. I was like, oh, they're gonna roast this. They're gonna hate it. And no, people really love it. And maybe this is a Stranger Things / Goonies for a new generation. Maybe it is. Maybe it's a way to get kids engaged in Star Wars.
Yeah.
You know? And maybe, let's see where this goes. But I will like this show more if there's more to the story of that suburban planet than meets the eye. If there's something else going on there that we later discover.
Suburban planet. I like the way we put that. I think that it is kind of an allegory for our own lives and how, and it's going to be relevant to kids as well, as they feel like they're being put into categories and they have to make a decision about the rest of their life and do the same thing for the rest of their life. I think that's a very common feeling in teenagers. And so that having that happen on this planet just kind of solidifies that fear. And then I just finished watching Andor season 1 again just before this week. And again, the thing I love most about that is that there's no trace of any Jedi stuff at all. It's all like just your old life in the Star Wars universe. And I like to see that. I think that's one of the reasons why people like this. They like to see our world in the Star Wars universe. And I think they like the suburbia.
This morning I was listening to the audio podcast from Rebel Force Radio, and they have this kid who calls in regularly every week. And it's a cute kid, nice kid, and I think he's a Patreon supporter, so they always put him on, which is pretty nice. And he loved it, and he basically says, "This is the first time I could see myself in the Star Wars universe," because I like reading about Luke Skywalker, and I like playing video games, and I like going into the garage and looking at the stuff or whatever. And I think it's interesting to me because I saw that and I was like, I hate this shit in my life every day. I want to see something else.
Yeah.
So it's, but you're right. I think for kids, it hits the right spot.
Yeah.
It's not for me. It's not for old man Larson, a bunch of kids running around because I'm like the dad. I'm like, this is bad. This is not, you damn kids.
You let the garage door open again.
Yeah. That's right. Exactly. That's right. I'm with the dad.
Yeah.
Turn out the lights when you leave the room.
I think it's going to have to balance those elements because, so what do you think? Are they going to get back? Are they going to spend the entire season getting back to their planet, or are they going to get back right away and then spend a bunch of time down there? Like, what's going to happen? Or
I think they're going to find out that their planet is something else than what they think it is, or maybe they will put their planet in danger if they lead these other pirates back there, and they are going to have to take matters into their own hands. And maybe with the help of somebody from the New Republic who finds them.
So they have these old Republic credits is what they say he has? When he tries to spend it at the bar?
I think they do.
And they're worth a lot of money. Like, they're basically, worth so much money because they're so rare in the regular world.
It was a little left open, I think. Or just we haven't seen these in a long time, or they
public credit. They wouldn't have been around since the Empire took over, right? So
they recognize what they are.
So is this planet still? Did this planet not go through the war, the Star Wars? This planet didn't experience it.
Well, but the kid is looking at Luke Skywalker with the Rancor.
Well, is it Luke Skywalker, or is it just a story about
How many Jedis have fought a Rancor?
I don't know the answer to that.
Come on. You don't go to Target to buy the no-name Jedi fighting the Rancor.
Okay, fine. All right, maybe not. I don't know.
So I think. Well, assuming that is Luke, it'd be crazy if it wasn't. But assuming it is, then they know who Luke Skywalker is.
Who has the publishing rights for that story, do you think? Did somebody at Jabba's palace tell the story and then write it down and then publish the novel, or what?
Who stole that story?
The Rancor keeper, the guy who was crying. He's like, I gotta bounce back.
It was a negative story about Luke from the perspective of the Rancor keeper.
That's right.
Yeah, that's a good question. I like that. I like who was the person who wrote this story, who survived the barge exploding.
Right. We still haven't answered that question, right?
Good question.
Bib Fortuna, as we determined, but he wasn't on the barge.
No, but he would have had to write it before Boba Fett shoots him in the head or he comes back.
Right. Anyway.
Yeah. So we don't know who the author was. That's a good question.
I have a prediction for this series, and it's out of left field, but I think it could happen given recent events. I think we might see Jar Jar Binks in this.
How?
I think he's still alive.
But in what
I don't know
respect would
we can have him run? They can run across him. We don't know where Jar Jar Binks is in this time and place. I think
we do though, because it was in the book, the one book we read. What was that called again?
Oh, the Aftermath.
Yeah, and they had the little interludes, right? And one of them was Jar Jar Binks was basically a Charlie Chaplin-like character now, where people kind of shunned him because he was responsible.
Yeah, so they could just jump off of that and have the kids run into him, basically, wherever they are. But I just think in terms of Ahmed Best, and he has been kind of back in and come to terms with all the horrible hate he went through initially when that first happened in the early 90s, or in the late 90s. And I think it would be a great kind of full circle moment to have him come back and play Jar Jar again in a new Star Wars piece, and it would fit in this one more than anything else
because kids always liked Jar Jar.
Yes, they did. Yeah, right? And it was always the adults who hated Jar Jar, and the kids thought he was fine. So I would like to see a Jar Jar cameo in this.
I don't think you're off base. I think I don't disagree with you. I think now that you've said it, I'm like this is the one.
Yeah,
I don't know where else we'd see him.
No,
I don't want to see him in the Mandalorian.
I don't want to see him in Andor season 2. Right?
Oh my God. That'd be hilarious.
It would be.
How would you sustain the?
Well, he would. Maybe he's part of the Rebel. As the Rebel Alliance is coming together, he's a part of it or something like that. That's what I'm really excited about for Andor season 2 is more of the story of how the Rebel Alliance comes together, because that is the most interesting part of all of it. Is how Stellan Skarsgård is talking to Saw Gerrera and all these other guys and trying to coordinate all this stuff. Yeah, and it's just so fascinating and.
The Mon Mothma stuff with
the husband on his day of days.
It's my day of days. Let's and hopefully we get to see another day of days for him.
Oh yeah,
but that guy it's not going to end well for that guy. I don't think.
No,
and I can't wait to see how it doesn't end well for him.
And it is, and just having had watched that, it is so much better than this. It's so much better than Skeleton Crew. The differences are very obvious, right?
Well, Skeleton Crew is more like a young TV. I mean, the effects are great in Skeleton Crew, I have to say, but it's more like a YTV production with good special effects. And Andor is more like HBO, where you're like, come on, gritty, and let's get into this story.
And he just kills people all over the place.
And it occurred to me the other day that the Penguin was HBO's version of Andor for Star Wars. Penguin is for Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Just a great, gritty, kind of down in the dirt kind of TV show that adds to the universe by telling these in-depth stories that you can't tell in a film.
Mm-hmm.
So so Andor is the best, but for kids, I think this is going to bring kids to Star Wars.
It could be, yeah. We'll see.
I think it will. Did your kids watch it?
No.
Your kids are older now, though.
They have no interest in Star Wars. They're really not a fan of that, and I think there's just so much else out there for kids these days to be fans of that Star Wars is kind of losing ground in the larger scheme of things. It was interesting on Rhett and Link today. They do this thing where they have these bar chart races, and they show how things change over time. And so I had this chart of like most popular franchises starting in like the 80s, 1985, and then going up until current day and how popular or how much money they've made as far as like just overall revenue. And you would be shocked to learn what the number one franchise is as far as a single character. I'll give you a hint and say it's a Disney character, but not the one you're thinking of.
Shrek.
Nope, that's not Disney. That's DreamWorks. Winnie the Pooh, apparently, because Winnie the Pooh is like one of the oldest characters, so it's been around, and they're counting everything from the books and everything too. So as Winnie the Pooh was number one, Mickey Mouse was number two, and Star Wars was down further down in the middle of it, right? And Star Wars kind of was moving around. I was watching the chart as it was going. It never came near the top. There's just too much else out there.
But okay, so here's another one that I saw was Nielsen. Nielsen once in a while will do, based on all the data it collects and stuff, it'll do like a quiz. Does it every now and again. And I saw them say, which green character has had more box office success in the films that this character was in? And it was Yoda, Shrek, the Hulk, and who's it? Give me another
frog.
No, it was another good green character, and so it was very tough.
Gotta be Shrek in that one.
No, it was Yoda.
Was it really?
If you take the films in which Yoda appears, the box office take is larger than those other franchises.
3 of them, right?
No, well, not now, right? Because he's also in.
No, he's not in the first. He's in the second and third one, and he's in The Last Jedi. Is he in The Rise of Skywalker too? I don't remember.
Yeah.
Is he?
Well, wait a second. Yeah, Luke talks to him.
Okay.
The ghost Luke talks to Ghost Yoda, right?
Oh, yeah, okay. That's right.
Okay, so that makes sense, because those films took in heaps of money.
A lot of money, yeah.
Okay, so that makes sense. And then
but Shrek did make a lot of money.
But when you think of the Hulk, but then again, the Hulk standalone films didn't do that well.
No, that's right.
And then now we're just talking the Avengers.
That was actually in the chart I saw. That was actually a separate category from the Marvel stuff. Avengers was on its own.
Yeah, like is it character? Is it franchise? It's interesting to break it down that way. It's tough. Like sometimes you'll see Harrison Ford is the most bankable movie star at $10 billion or something, but then you realize it's Star Wars and Indiana Jones, and Air Force One. And Jack Ryan. I mean, those Jack Ryan movies he was in did fine, but they weren't like they didn't do Star Wars money.
No. What was I gonna say? I had something about you distracted me with Air Force One.
You started thinking about Harrison Ford beating up terrorists.
Throwing Gary Oldman off the plane.
Yeah.
Okay, so back to Skeleton Crew. So any other predictions for this? I think that it's going to be...
we made 2 good predictions, I think.
So.
Yeah.
So what was yours again?
That planet is more than it seems that they're on, that there's something going on. And it might even be something that the people living there are unaware of.
So it's like a secret base or something?
It could be.
Something that was... I think it's been isolated from the galaxy throughout most of the war, and so maybe they get some stories. Maybe they get like the novels and the fictionalized tales from the war, but they actually didn't experience it because life is so nice. I think the point of that whole suburban setting is that it's nice, it's calm, it's stable. It's not like a crazy village. Like all the other Star Wars settings have been a village, or there's a bunch of people and it's crazy aliens all over the place. This seems to be mostly human. I don't know.
But I think the pirate ship under the surface is a metaphor for something's going on, something apart from what we know in the stable suburban life is going on. Like E.T., for instance, was a similar thing, which is everybody going about their lives. But meanwhile, the team with flashlights is looking for an alien.
And they no guns in the original movie,
right?
And they have guns again, actually, Kenton. They put the guns back in ET
because you have to ratchet up the fear factor that makes things a little more exciting.
Well, I think it's just more authentic for the time. Yeah. Is that those guys would have busted out of that van holding their guns because they're going after kids. That's exactly what they mean.
Yeah, and there's the fear when the kids take off on the bikes that maybe people will shoot at them with the guns. I remember that.
Did you think about the flying bikes when you were seeing the hover bike sequence in this?
I did not.
No.
Did you?
No, not at all. I just know it now. But,
no.
He did have a basket on his bike, didn't he? Like, it was kind of a cool hover bike.
I think so. And there's, all what were we missing? I thought a Back to the Future reference where where he plugs in a guitar or something. Like, I thought I almost expected that because there's so many shout outs. Is this our first shout out to the Star Wars holiday special in
I don't know
with
they referred to it
with
before.
The projection?
That was definitely not to the holiday special. It might be actually. Although didn't they refer to something in Mandalorian about Boba Fett fighting a monster or something?
Oh yeah,
they made a reference to
You're right.
something like that. I don't.
This isn't the first one. You're right.
Yeah.
They did make a reference to that, I think. Yeah. So there. Yeah. So, but this was like a very. I never thought we'd see that thing again. That holographic entertainment center. They're just obsessed with circus entertainers and Jefferson Starship.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Yeah. Yeah. I'm Marty Ballin's on the phone. He's like, "Hey, I heard you brought back that thing from the Star Wars holiday special. I just want you to know the band's ready. If you need us, we're right here."
The shield around this planet has like frozen it in time, so it's actually stuck in the 70s when Star Wars was made.
I wonder. Did the kid have posters up?
I think he did.
I think he did. It might be fun to go back and look at. Are you gonna
let me see if I can
check
find
out
something?
Because I thought I saw a band poster that I recognized, but it might not be. It could be an in-joke.
Thigh Snoodles or something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah, like something. But it looked like it almost.
Well, that would have been the first episode.
Yeah, it almost looked like an '80s band or something poster. And I wonder if.
No. Hold on a second here.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard to find it, maybe. But let's see. Are you going to watch it a second time?
I was going to before we. I'm getting ads now. By the way, I've been. I have the ad supported Disney Plus, so I have ad breaks in my Star Wars. It's a little weird, I gotta say. It is a bit weird. But whatever. It's part of what I just in time for the price to go up. I had my $1.99 a month. And every other ad is this one, by the way, for the new Lion King film. So they're just advertising themselves to me. But and I can't skip it. I want to skip it, and I can't.
No, you just have to let it play out. I watch far less Prime Video since the ads seeped in.
I'm watching more Prime, actually.
Are you?
Yeah, just because it's got better stuff than anything else.
Netflix, like every time I rule out Netflix, it rallies and has something good on it.
Come on, Mufasa, the Lion.
This is like the longest trailer ever made. What's that? Oh, yeah, we're back.
This is the scene to the. Now, this does seem incredibly dangerous for him, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like these don't seem safe.
Oh, and once again, there's a couple shot for shots of Luke from Return of the Jedi.
Falls into the cliff. Yeah. Like, jeez.
Falls into the ravine. That could have ended badly. Yeah. It's kind of interesting that nobody has ever come to this ravine and gone, has a ship crashed here?
Yeah, no kidding, eh?
Like nothing? The hatch is sitting right there.
I can't see his poster. I can't see what the posters are, so. Oh. He wants the bedtime story. The dad's like, no. So there's a little thing here about him and his dad as well, as far as like his dad doesn't pay him enough attention. That's very much an 80s thing as well, right? Like the dad's at work and not.
Oh, one more prediction. Tragic backstory about the mom.
Oh, did they tell us what happened to
I don't think they did, but I don't recall it. Now someone's going to go, yeah, they did.
No, all right, I did.
I don't think they did, but I think that has to be whenever you see the detached or the father who's like spending too much time at work and ignoring the kids, usually there's a tragic backstory. And if there's no other parents around, I imagine we will hear something about that along the way. So there we have three predictions. We'll learn something about the planet, Jar Jar Binks, and potentially a tragic backstory for a parental.
There we go.
Figure. Let's see if those things come true.
And will they become pirates in this?
Okay, and let's go on the record. I'm gonna say Jude Law is not a Jedi.
I think he's like another failed Jedi. Like he went to the academy or something, and he went through it to a certain point, and then he left and went on his own. Or he was a Jedi up to a certain point, and then he went off.
Is this another Order 66 story?
Yeah, I think it's.
You think so?
Yeah, I think it's like he was like his master was killed by Order 66, and he had to figure it out on his own or something like that kind of thing.
He could be familiar with Baby Grogu then.
Maybe. I mean, we don't know, right?
Okay, all right. We're putting some pieces together here, folks.
We could be completely wrong in all of this, but that's part of the fun.
Maybe, remember Ahmed Best played the guy who rescued the Jedi who rescued Grogu?
He did, yes.
Could that guy come face to face with Jar Jar?
Oh, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, to Ahmed Best.
All right. We'll have to wait till next week to find out. That's going to do it for this episode of the Star Wars Nerds. I'm Dan Vadabonker.
I'm Kenton Larson. Don't let the Force hit you in the ass.
Going into Toshi Station to pick up some power converters.
Now I am the master.
I'm taking an awful risk, mate.